Buildings officer says foam board situation at Wonderful Court not within the department's remit. And FBI investigating motive of suspected Washington banquet shooter. Good evening. Welcome to TVB News. U.S. President Donald Trump maintained Washington has all the cards in negotiations to end the war with Iran. This comes as the head of Iran's Parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Committee said his country has no intention of holding nuclear negotiations with the U.S. Daniel Rao tells us more.
U.S. President Donald Trump reiterated Washington has the upper hand in negotiations to end the war with Iran. This after he called off dispatching envoys to Iran talks. In an interview on Fox News Channel's The Sunday Briefing, Trump said he made that decision rather than to send a delegation on a 17-hour flight.
Funerals were held in Gaza City Sunday for Palestinians killed by Israeli forces hours earlier. At least 4 people were killed by Israeli military on Sunday morning in 3 separate incidents. The deaths were the latest among Palestinians in Gaza since an October ceasefire deal attempted to halt more than 2 years of war between Israel and Hamas. While the heaviest fighting has subsided, Israeli forces have carried out repeated airstrikes on Palestinians in the military-held zones. In the U.S., the suspect linked to the shooting at the White House Correspondents Association dinner will be charged in federal court on Monday with assault of a federal officer, discharging a firearm and attempting to kill a federal officer. A phone footage taken inside Washington Hilton shows the moment when several cabinet officials, including U.S. Secretary of Interior Doug Burnham and other guests, were escorted out of the media dinner on Saturday night. Police and Secret Service agents were seen coming down to the level of the ballroom and instructing people to leave. The lone gunman was identified by law enforcement officials as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen of Torrance, California, a teacher and amateur video game developer who is believed to have legally purchased 2 firearms within the last couple of years. While attempting to storm the gala, he was tackled to the ground with shirt stripped off in chaotic scenes that resulted in gunshots being fired. One Secret Service officer was shot in a bulletproof vest but was recovering. During an interview with NBC News, U.S. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said it appears that the suspect has set out to target officials working in the administration, including President Donald Trump, adding he wants to wait and not get ahead of them on that. Meanwhile, FBI agents searched Allen's family home in one of the most historic neighborhoods in Torrance, a city within the Los Angeles metro area. Public records show he is the oldest of 4 adult siblings. Allen's profile on LinkedIn shows he earned a bachelor's degree in 2017 in mechanical engineering from the California Institute of Technology and a master's degree in computer science from California State University. A social media account believed to belong to Allen include posts that alluded to grievances over a range of administration policies, the U.S. war against Iran and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Allen's brother told the New London Police Department in Connecticut that the suspect had sent family members an alleged manifesto minutes before the shooting. Media reports say Allen called himself a friendly federal assassin in the writings that ran over 1,000 words. He made repeated reference to Trump without directly naming the Republican president, and railed against strikes on boats accused of smuggling drugs in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, among other recent actions taken by the U.S. government under Trump. A buildings department officer said foam board application on windows in Wonderful Court was not appropriate. But the officer said the estate's case was outside its remit. Mimosang reports.
The public hearing continued at Central City Gallery. Victor Dawes, the committee's senior counsel, first questioned Karen Jern, the assistant director of the buildings department's mandatory building inspection. Chen said that the department's general practice before the fire was not to conduct on-site scaffolding mesh tests, but to rely on the material certificate, including examining the document issuer. Asked what the department would do to verify the authenticity of the certificate, Chen said there was no other mechanism established to achieve that before the blaze. Chen told the committee that using foam boards to shield windows wasn't a common practice in the industry, based on the department's inspection of more than 400 buildings in the aftermath of the blaze. She said that one food court's case wasn't within her department's purview, but handled by the Independent Checking Unit, or ICU, which is under the Housing Bureau. The officer, however, said that her department would take enforcement action when it found foam boards being used on windows. Jie Kanming, a former senior building surveyor of the buildings department, seconded to the ICU between 2023 and 2025, said he didn't recall a colleague surnamed Gu had consulted him on whether the foam board application would constitute a breach. In Gu's written testimony, he claimed Jie had said the use of foam boards wouldn't be considered as unauthorized building works. Jie said, "I would definitely treat this as an unfair allegation against me." The former surveyor said the foam board application had violated the building regulation. He stated that a hazard would be created when you place foam material extensively on external walls. Wai Yin, a liaison officer at the Taibo District Office of the Home Affairs Department, told the committee that she hadn't seen any irregularities in proxy votes, despite having attended 6 one-food courts meetings, or said the department could do little on the proxy issue. Jiang Haoman, a former Taibo District Officer of the Home Affairs Department, said proxies acted as a tool, responding to allegations that Peggy Wong, a DAB district councillor, had obtained proxies illegally. Chen described that as serious. Asked what the district office would do if they received complaints related to illegal proxies, Chen said they would refer the cases to law enforcement if provided with evidence. Memos 9, TVB News.
Today is the second day for residents of higher floors of Wan Cheng House and Wan Tao House to collect belongings at their fire-ravaged flats. Coming with hiking backpacks, carton boxes and large plastic bags, residents were escorted by government staff to their former houses. Some residents brought flowers to mourn those who perished in the blaze. A boy joined his parents upstairs, hoping to bid farewell to their beloved home and retrieve his certificates and medals. Despite mobility issues, a resident from the upper floors of Wan Tao House insisted on climbing 19 stories just to salvage something for posterity. Authorities earlier said they would provide psychological support to residents of Wan Cheng House and Wan Tao House, which suffered the most severe casualties. And still ahead, ceremonies in Ukraine and Russia to commemorate those who died in Chernobyl 40 years ago. Police buzz child pornography ring with help of foreign counterparts. And a new Bruce Lee statue and exhibition to celebrate his homecoming 85 years ago. Welcome back. At a conference on the 40th anniversary of the Chernobyl disaster, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky warns Russian attacks can endanger the country's nuclear power plant. Meanwhile, in Moscow, hundreds gathered to commemorate those who lost their lives in the tragedy, while Pope Leo XIV calls for the peaceful use of nuclear energy. Gloria Fung has the story.
On Sunday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Moldovan President Maya Sandu laid candles and observed a moment of silence at a memorial commemorating those who died from deadly radiation exposure while containing the aftermath of the Chernobyl disaster 40 years ago. Later at a conference, Zelensky said Russian attacks threaten the safety of Ukraine's largest nuclear plant. We must clearly state that only Ukrainian control, only Ukrainian specialists, and Ukrainian safety protocols can guarantee that there will be no radiation problems at Zaporizhzhia station, Zelensky says. At the same conference, Rafael Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, signs an agreement to expand its support to Ukraine.
We have signed an agreement to expand the support the IEA is giving, and in particular on a very challenging situation which is posed by the military pressure on the electrical grid and continued attacks on the critical substations that are sustaining the nuclear power plant's effort.
In Moscow, servicemen and the public lay flowers at a cemetery, paying respect to those who lost their lives in the tragedy. One liquidator who worked on site at the time of the incident remembers the seized workers who dealt with the aftermath, calling them heroes that must never be forgotten. And addressing a crowd in St. Peter's Square on Sunday, Pope Leo XIV calls for the peaceful use of nuclear energy. Today marks the 40th anniversary of the tragic Chernobyl accident, which has left an indelible mark on the conscience of humanity. It remains a warning of the risks inherent to the use of even more powerful technologies. I hope that at every level of decision-making, discernment and responsibility will always prevail. May every use of atomic energy be in the service of life and peace, says the Pope. Gloria Feng, TVB News.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un hosted visiting Russian State Duma Speaker Vyacheslav Volodin and Defense Minister Andrei Belousov at an opening ceremony of a military complex in Pyongyang. The complex, including a museum, is dedicated to North Korean soldiers who fought alongside Russian forces in the conflict with Ukraine. According to the Russian military, the delegation visited the museum and an exhibition of captured weaponry and military equipment and laid flowers at a memorial plaque to fallen North Korean servicemen. In Chinese mainland's Labor Day Golden Week will run from this Friday. The Immigration Department forecasts that around 6 million passengers will come in and out of Hong Kong during the holiday period. Samantha Lee has the details.
The Golden Week is a few days away, but many visitors have already kicked off their vacations. Shim Sai-choi was buzzing with holidaymakers today. This Shanghai tourist said they came to Hong Kong earlier in a bid to avoid the holiday rush. While this Zhejiang lady had to combine a flight with a train ride to get here. She said it was difficult to grab a sleeper train ticket to Hong Kong. Most of the high-speed rail tickets to Hong Kong on May 1st are sold out. To meet the high demand, 13 extra pairs of trains will run daily between Hong Kong and Shenzhen Futian from April 30th to May 3rd. Many of these services, however, are fully booked. Amid the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, some tourism experts believe more travelers are opting to take trains to Hong Kong over expensive flights. Timothy Choi, executive director of the Hong Kong Tourism Association, pointed there isn't a huge difference in total travel time between flying and taking the train. While the mainland enjoys a 5-day break, Hong Kongers also get a 3-day long weekend, with May 1st falling right before the weekend. Total passenger traffic is expected to hit 6 million during the holiday period. Approximately 980,000 mainland visitors are anticipated to come, marking a 7% increase year-on-year. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
Hong Kong's police have joined hands with their counterparts in several nations in an effort to tackle those engaged in child pornography. Timothy Lee has more.
The operation was jointly conducted by the Hong Kong police and those from nations such as Singapore and Malaysia last month, after an investigation led to the exposure of a group involved in online child pornography. At least 326 people were arrested on suspicion of producing or possessing such illicit content. Among them were 9 men from Hong Kong between the ages of 18 and 61. Authorities seized several of their computers and mobile phones containing over 200 videos or photos involving underage individuals. One of the arrestees, a 28-year-old man, was also suspected to have sexually assaulted a 12-year-old boy on several occasions starting in 2023. The police said the man became acquainted with the boy on social media and asked the latter out to meet in person, before subsequently sexually abusing him throughout a 1-year period. He has already been charged for 1 count of indecent assault. The police urged parents to pay extra attention to their children's social media to prevent them from falling prey to such criminals. Authorities further noted they received a total of 62 cases related to child pornography last year, which experienced a drop of 30% year-on-year. More than 70% of victims were between the ages of 12 and 15, with the youngest being just 9 years old. Around half of the cases involved the production of child pornography. A police clinical psychologist said many children who were sexually exploited may be unaware of the gravity of the situation, and sometimes even blame themselves for what happened to them. He emphasized that residents should promptly seek professional help if they develop sexual feelings towards children. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
A new bronze statue of martial arts legend Bruce Lee has been unveiled in Kowloon. Samantha Lee has more.
The life-sized 1:1 scale tribute is now standing at the Prudential Center in Kowloon's Jordan District, which was the site of Bruce Lee's childhood home. Born in San Francisco and raised in Hong Kong, Lee starred in kung fu films in the early 70s, which catapulted him to international superstardom. Titled Be Like Water, the statue is a centerpiece of the exhibition, Bruce Lee Homecoming, 85 years later. The exhibition also features a collection of private treasures, including unreleased photographs and original film posters. Exhibition curator Hei Man noted this year marks the 85th anniversary of Lee's arrival in Hong Kong as an infant. He thinks Hong Kong could do more to celebrate the legacy of Bruce Lee. He said the US has an official day for him on May 17th, and Hong Kong should also do something to honor the movie star. The exhibition is hosted at the Prudential Center, which is sponsored by the Prudential Enterprise. Director of Prudential Enterprise Gabriel Lee said turning this historic location into a unique attraction is a perfect way to support Hong Kong tourism. The project was approved by Lee's daughter and is supported by the Bruce Lee Foundation. Members of the public can visit for free. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.